And from all the cities that have been built, you have consecrated Zion for yourself. And from all the birds that have been created, you have named for yourself one dove. And from all the flocks that have been fashioned, you have provided for yourself one sheep. And from all the multitude of people, you have gotten for yourself one people. And to this people whom you have loved, you have given the law which is approved by all. And now, O Lord, why have you given over the one to the many, and dishonored the root beyond the others, and scattered your only one among the many? And those who opposed your promises have trodden down on those who believed your covenants. If you really hate your people, they should be punished at your own hands. Response to Ezra's complaints. When I had spoken these words, the angel who had come with me on a previous night was sent to me, and he said to me, "Listen to me, and I will instruct you. Pay attention to me, and I will tell you more." "Speak on, my lord," I said. And he said to me, "You are greatly disturbed in mind over Israel, or do you love him more than the Maker does?" "No, my lord," I said, "but because of my grief I have spoken. For every hour I suffer agonies of heart, while I strive to understand the way of the Most High, and to search out part of his judgment." He said to me, "You cannot." And I said, "Why not, my lord? Why then was I born? Or why did not my mother's womb become my grave, that I might not see the travail of Jacob and the exhaustion of the people of Israel?" He said to me, "Count up for me those who have not yet come, and gather for me the scattered raindrops, or make the withered flowers bloom again for me. Open for me the closed chambers, and bring forth for me the winds shut up in them. Or show me the picture of a voice, and I will explain to you the travail that you ask to understand." "O sovereign Lord," I said, "who is able to know these things except he whose dwelling is not with men? As for me, I am without wisdom, and how can I speak concerning the things which you have asked me?" He said to me, "Just as you cannot do one of the things that were mentioned, so you cannot discover my judgment, or the goal of the love that I have promised my people. Why successive generations have been created." I said, "Yet behold, O Lord, you have charge of those who are alive at the end. But what will you do to those who were before us, or we, or those who will come after us?" He said to me, "I shall liken my judgment to a circle. Just as for those who are last there is no slowness, so for those who are first there is no haste." Then I answered and said, "Could you not have created at one time those who have been, and those who are, and those who will be, that you might show your judgment the sooner?" He replied to me and said, "The creation cannot make more haste than the Creator, neither can the world hold at one time those who have been created in it." And I said, "How have you said to your servant that you will certainly give life at one time to your creation? If therefore all creatures who live at one time, and the creation will sustain them, it might even now be able to support all of them present at one time." He said to me, "Ask a woman's womb and say to it, if you bear 10 children, why one after another? Request it therefore to produce 10 at one time." I said, "Of course it cannot, but only each in its own time." He said to me, "Even so, I have given the womb of the earth to those who from time to time are sown in it. For as an infant does not bring forth, and a woman who has become old does not bring forth any longer, so have I organized the world which I created." Then I inquired and said, "Since you have now given me the opportunity, let me speak before you. Is our mother of whom you have told me still young, or is she approaching old age?" He replied to me, "Ask a woman who bears children, and she will tell you. Say to her, why are those whom you have borne recently not like those whom you have borne before, but smaller in stature? And she herself will answer you. Those born in the strength of youth are different from those born during the time of old age, when the womb is failing. Therefore you should also consider that you and your contemporaries are smaller in stature than those who were before you, and those who will come after you will be smaller than you, as born of a creation which already is aging and passing the strength of youth." The end of the age. I said, "O Lord, I beseech you, if I have found favor in your sight, show your servant through whom you are going to visit your creation." He said to me, "At the beginning of the circle of the earth, before the portals of the world were in place, and before the assembled winds blew, and before the rumblings of thunder sounded, and before the flashes of lightning shone, and before the foundations of paradise were laid, and before the beautiful flowers were seen, and before the powers of movement were established, and before the innumerable hosts of angels were gathered together, and before the heights of the air were lifted up, and before the measures of the firmaments were named, and before the footstool of Zion was established, and before the present years were reckoned, and before the imaginations of those who now sin were estranged, and before those who stored up treasures of faith were sealed, then I planned these things, and they were made through me and not through another, just as the end shall come through me and not through another." The division of times. I answered and said, "What will be the dividing of the times? Or when will be the end of the first age and the beginning of the age that follows?" He said to me, "From Abraham to Isaac, because from him were born Jacob and Esau. For Jacob's hand held Esau's heel from the beginning. For Esau is the end of the age, and Jacob is the beginning of the age that follows. For the beginning of a man is his hand, and the end of a man is his heel. Between the heel and the hand seek for nothing else, Esra." Signs of the ends of the age. I answered and said, "O sovereign Lord, if I have found favor in your sight, show your servant the end of your signs which you have showed me in part in a previous night." He answered and said to me, "Rise to your feet, and you will hear a full resounding voice. And if the place where you are standing is greatly shaken while the voice is speaking, do not be terrified, because the word concerns the end, and the foundations of the earth will understand that the speech concerns them. They will tremble and be shaken, for they know that their end must be changed." When I heard this, I rose to my feet and listened, and behold, a voice was speaking, and its sound was like the sound of many waters. And it said, "Behold, the days are coming, and it shall be that when I draw near to visit the inhabitants of the earth, and when I require from the doers of iniquity the penalty of their iniquity, and when the humiliation of Zion is complete, and when the seal is placed upon the age which is about to pass away, then I will show these signs. The books shall be opened before the firmament, and all shall see it together. Infants a year old shall speak with their voices, and women with child shall give birth to premature children at 3 or 4 months, and these shall live and dance. Sown places shall suddenly appear unsown, and full storehouses shall be suddenly found empty. And the trumpet shall sound aloud, and when all hear it they shall suddenly be terrified. At that time friends shall make war on friends like enemies, and the earth and those who inhabit it shall be terrified. And the springs of the fountain shall stand still, so that for 3 hours they shall not flow. It shall be that whoever remains after all that I have foretold to you shall be saved, and see my salvation in the end of the world. And they shall see the men who were taken up, who from their birth have not tasted death. And the heart of the earth's inhabitants shall be changed and converted to a different spirit. For evil shall be blotted out, and deceit shall be quenched. Faithfulness shall flourish, and corruption shall be overcome. And the truth, which has been so long without fruit, shall be revealed." Conclusion of the vision. While he spoke to me, behold, little by little the place where I was standing began to rock to and fro. And he said to me, "I have come to show you these things this night. If therefore you will pray again and fast again for 7 days, I will declare also to you greater things than these. Because your voice has surely been heard before the Most High, for the Mighty One has seen your uprightness, and also has observed the purity with which you have maintained from your youth. Therefore he sent me to show you all these things, and say to you, Believe and do not be afraid. Do not be quick to think vain thoughts concerning the former things, lest you be hasty concerning the last times."